Okay, try again.
Can you hear us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
I'm bad.
How's it going?
Good.
You're the quorum.
Alrighty. Glad I can make it.
Didn't you get my email?
We're on the air.
What's that?
We're on the air.
Oh. Okay.
Call to order. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Thursday, October 20th, Planning Board meeting for the town of Berwick. Let's go ahead and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, introduction of board members. To my left, Paul Amatucci, Jerry Grable, myself, Phil Roy, and via Zoom we have board member Matt Henry. Also present, Mr. Bellissimo and Dave Andreessen, as are, your role is the planner assistant.
Planning and code enforcement technician.
Planning and code enforcement technician. Welcome aboard, and thank you for fulfilling that vital role for us.
Thank you.
He needs to turn his picture on. If he's in the room, he has to have a picture on so that people can see.
Matt, if you can hear us, can you go ahead and turn your camera on? Because they have to be able to see you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. One sec. Sorry, I'm not good with this stuff. Does that work?
That works.
There you are. All right. All right, first thing on the agenda is nomination elections. Election of Planning Board Vice Chair. How do we run that?
Okay, so basically, because I got hired by the town on last Thursday, I immediately responded to Mike, and I let him know that I had to resign, so I resigned. So we don't have a vice chair. So we need a vice chair.
And the board
Where's
can,
Mike tonight?
He's got something else going on tonight.
So, I would make a motion that we nominate Phil Roy as vice chairman.
I don't feel like I'm there for the part, so I would second that motion.
Thanks, Matt.
I'm happy to accept that nomination and the responsibility and fulfill that role as needed for the town.
Shall we vote on that? All those in favor?
Can I
Yes.
vote? I can? Okay.
4-0.
Okay.
4-0.
Okay.
and then
Take
just
it over.
when Matt does a vote, you just do a roll call. So you can say roll call, and
Okay.
that's just part of the
Okay,
law.
so Jerry or Paul was a yes. Jerry
Yes.
Grable was a yes. I'm a yes, and Matt Henry is a yes. Thank you.
Sir.
All right.
Okay, first we'll open the floor for the first public comment. If there are any public comments. No public comment. We will move to public hearings, and we have none scheduled, if that's correct, Mr. Bellissimo?
That's correct.
Okay. Approval of minutes from the last meeting, September 15. As Mr. Grable was not present, we do not have a quorum, and we are unable to vote on that, so we will table that for the next meeting. Old business, moving on to findings of fact for 420 Portland Street, LLC, map 71, lot 10. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the finding of fact for 420 Portland Street?
I just got one note. I noticed a typo on number 1. There's just a random H there, so scratch that out
On number 1.
on page 5.
Gotta be perfect, huh?
Okay.
It's an important legal document. Yeah.
That's right.
I know. I'm just.
1 on page 5, was that?
Yeah, page 5 on under the conditions of approval, applicant shall provide the town the plan for the holding tank, and there's just an H.
Okay.
H shouldn't be there.
If there's no other changes, do we have a motion to approve the findings of fact?
I'll make motion to approve the findings of fact.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and for the record, so motion was made by Mr. Amatucci, seconded by Mr. Grable. I voted yes, and Mr. Henry also voted yes.
That's Mr. Vice Chair.
To feel good?
No,
No. No, I haven't. I was a chair for
No,
7
I
years.
don't
It
get tied up on the
Yeah.
titles or hung up on
Exactly.
it. So, all right. So on to the next manner of business would be the finding of facts for. Oh wait, 420 School Street. Okay, this is for alternate finding of, or another finding of fact for the same property, correct?
It's actually,
No, this is a different property.
It is.
You
okay.
you did Portland Street, and this is School Street, Route 9.
There's a lot of 420
There is.
streets.
There
okay.
is.
Ironically enough.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I get mixed up.
Okay.
yeah, there's 420 School Street, Building B, and then there's Building D. So they're two
Okay.
separate conditional use approvals. And
I only have the one, or are they merged onto one document?
No, they're both there. You got those right here, School Street.
the one for B is Otts Automotive and Auto Body.
Okay.
This is the one where we went and did the walkthrough, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
All that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the fourth view.
I think I'm missing a document. Do you guys have
I'm trying to find it on right now myself.
This one right here. School Street.
So this is
That's
for
School Street.
lot
Yeah, Building B.
building B. Okay. And we had one for building A as well?
Building D.
Or building D?
Yeah.
Building D is the one that I'm not seeing.
Building D is right.
Okay. I thought I was going crazy.
No, they don't
Okay.
have the-
Okay. I'll review this and hand it to you guys for approval.
Guess that's my bad.
No, no worries. No worries.
420 School. This is that's Building B. They're supposed to be.
I have the building D. I will hand that down to you once I've reviewed it.
Right.
Okay, that's building D. I see no issues. We had some
That's B there.
conditions for them, and that's out on this one. No waivers granted conditions. Was there an issue with oil tanks or something that was resolved on that one?
There was the water tanks that we need that they were supposed to be pumped out, like, right?
I thought we gave them some
I thought we
conditions.
talked about that, right?
I thought we had. I don't know if those got resolved or.
There was, back behind the enclosure, there was tanks of oil next to the trailer.
That's what it was. There
That
were
all
oil
supposed to be cleaned
tanks.
out.
I thought we gave them direction to clean that up.
Yeah, I think for this is for Otts Automotive. For B.
Okay.
Or was it for the entire site?
No.
Yeah.
It was for the entire site. We did a walkthrough, and I believe they had some stuff to clean up because there was wetlands off to the side of that building. and they had some standing oil tanks. So I just would want clarification.
I think we can table 420 School Street, and then we can look back and
Okay.
get those conditional, because you're probably right, there's probably conditions of approval.
I just want to make sure we're not misstepping
No, that's
if we
important.
did put
That's
conditions on them,
D
because I
is
thought we
building
did.
in front, right?
Yeah.
And D is the one in back. And D in back, they had an issue with the door. You couldn't get out the back of the building.
That was another condition as well. was
Okay.
The door. Yeah, I would like to just, so I'm going to make a motion that we,
Jeff in the paint shop, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion that we table both the findings of facts for building B and building D until such time we can verify that the previous conditions were met.
Right. We had a whole long list of stuff that we talked about, not only there, but we talked about that night. Okay,
So looking for a second on that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
I,
Okay. Let's see.
You want to do a roll call vote with Matt?
Oh, yep.
So you say like,
He did.
you say, Matt, what do you vote?
Okay, I got you. Matt, you're a yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Vice-
I'm a yes.
Vice Chair.
Mr. Grable
Yes.
and Mr. Amatucci. Okay. All right. And on to new business. Request for revisit of subdivision condition of approval 115 Old Pine Hill Road, tax map Uniform 47, Lot 47, LRB Leasing. Could you state your name for the board, sir?
Hi, my name is Les Bardwell, and I'm in front of you guys. As you guys know, you just agreed to cut a lot off of a previous subdivision to amend a subdivision. After that meeting, when I went outside, the first time I saw this document from the planner that you guys wanted $31,000 for a sidewalk deposit, my eyes fell out of my head. I know I probably should have seen that when I signed the application, but sometimes these applications are, 30, 40, 300 pages long. So $31,000 for a sidewalk fee for a 100-foot lot seemed outrageous to me. So I did some research, and the way I look at the land use ordinance, sidewalk fees only apply to subdivisions and not individual lots that are cut off. So I think that it was suggested by the planner in error that I pay a sidewalk fee. So I said, well, it doesn't apply to a single lot, but this is an amendment to a subdivision. So I said, okay, so I guess you could look at it that way. But then on that subdivision, I had a sidewalk waiver. So the $31,000 was like, I'm like, $31,000 on an $80,000 lot? Seems crazy. And so, but again, then after my research, the couple of points that I found was that it only applies to subdivisions and not individual lots, which is what I cut off. So I don't think it should have been applied at all. And if it was, if the old planner's thought process was, well, this is a subdivision, I did get sidewalk waivers on that subdivision. So I'm asking the planning board to remove that stipulation.
So you have two reasons for wanting this waived. Number one is it's not a subdivision, and number two, if we even consider it a subdivision, you already have a waiver for it.
Correct.
Where did the $31,000 number come from, James? Do we have any visibility on that?
Yeah, the $31,000 that came with the town of Berwick. Just did a sidewalk project. We had a per foot cost. So 200. It was estimated at 200 feet, which the lot that was split off was 100 feet. So at 100 feet, at $155 per foot, which was the cost that it came out, would be more like $15,500. Typically, when sidewalks are required, they're required along the frontage of a subdivision. I think you could argue it's a subdivision amendment, but you're creating a new lot, so you follow the subdivision rules. So logically, you could argue, yeah, the planner was right with you should provide sidewalks on frontage of that lot, which would be 100 feet, not 200 feet.
So
Right.
it's half the cost, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, it'd be half the cost. Yeah, it'd be $15,500.
So before we can make any determination, we probably would have to make a formal notification of the new quoted price and requirement, or no?
I can get that from Jody on what, if that's something you'd like, because that's what it came from the.
I just think we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't do that.
I got a question. Is this required though, for what? This is just an individual lot, not a subdivision.
Grand's a lot of money.
It's
And it's already waived per the subdivision.
yeah, it was part of the tricky part is that it was all over Mr. Bodwell's application. Part of the application. I mean, it says within his application a couple different times it mentions, we're willing to pay the $31,000 per the Director of Public Works memo. So maybe.
And that's absolutely on me. I absolutely did not see that, or I would have brought that up.
So I think I think the condition of approval, and if it has to be amended, if that's what the board would like to see, is an updated estimate at 100 feet, and then
I just think that protects his interest as much as it protects ours. I don't know, or is that even a requirement?
I think I can get that for the next meeting. And
Does
I
that
think that's-
do
I think-
hardship on you as far as being able to execute your development currently?
No, it's and whatever the planning board rules, I'll adhere to. So it's not an issue as far as that goes. But it just, when I saw the $30,000 thing, I was like, I got a 100-foot lot. There's a 25-foot driveway cut. There's really only 75 feet of potential sidewalk there. I'm like, that's $400 a lineal foot. That's what I'm building a whole subdivision for, with water and sewer. And I'm like, my eyes fell out of my head, And James is 100% right. It was on the documents. I just come in, civil consultant said, come in, sign the application. I signed the application. I didn't even expect that. So it's 100% on me that I overlooked it, no question. And I had conversations with James that, I'm not, I'm heavily invested in this town, and I want the town to do right. And I honestly don't think that I should have to pay any sidewalk fee on this, and I would like you guys to, review that aspect first.
That's kind of my question. In other words, where this lot was broke off, it's down at the other end of that subdivision. Is that sidewalk going anywhere if he puts it in? Or is it just dead ended in front of that property?
I think it's probably an age-old question, and I think the philosophy that the town and the direction we want to head in is we've kicked the can down the road so many times with not doing those segments. You look at Old Pine Hill Road, we have nothing. Where if we just made, developers put in those segments, we'd start having things that we could connect in. You could have things we can connect into.
That's
kind of
that's fine. I just need, for me, I want to understand, the logic.
How we
behind
got here is what I'm trying to wrap my head
Yeah,
around.
and also, because we have not in the past, pushed that, do we leave it on less to now have to start the process with the sidewalk to nowhere? So
I can get a legal or even Lee J will have plenty to say about it
okay,
at the next meeting. So I can
okay, yeah.
arrange getting the quote updated, and then you can have that discussion whether the fee applies.
The next question I would have on the quote, you said it's $15,500 roughly or something like that. Your price for putting it in on your subdivision is less than that, right?
Way less, yeah.
75
But understand, when you're building a subdivision, there are things that, if you just go to build a sidewalk, right, that's going to cost you a lot more money than if you're building it while you're building a subdivision. So I just think that, the sidewalk is not going to go in front of my property directly. There's no question, because the sidewalk on Pine Hill Road is on the other side. I think the spirit of it is that when you do a subdivision, you contribute to the sidewalk fund, and then whatever side of the road the sidewalk goes on, it goes on, right? So it may not be directly in front of your property. It may be across the street. And so, from a standpoint of if the planning board determines that I am obligated to pay this fee, right, then I'll pay it. And ultimately, when the sidewalk continues, it'll be on the other side, and that's fine. My question is, should I have to pay it, for one? And two, I definitely shouldn't have to pay 200 feet. I think I should have to pay 75 feet, because that's the only amount of sidewalk that could be on that lot. So if the planning board deems that, you know, the sidewalk waiver isn't valid because, you know, I come to you and I agreed to cut this lot off with this fee in there, and that negates the waiver, then it negates the waiver. I just think I should only have to pay 75 feet if I have to pay anything, and not 200 feet. I don't know where the 200
How
feet
did,
came
I'm
from.
just confused
I
how we
have to
got,
agree with Les, honestly.
I'm just
You know,
confused.
he's done a lot in this town, and you know, he's an honest man. He's saying what he's got to say, and there's a bunch of pages. Like he said, there's 300 pages in what he signed, and he said, honest to God, he didn't know that what he was really, he didn't know if we could at least give him a discount on that. I mean, it was 31 grand, and then 15 grand. If we could help him out the slightest bit, that'd be so. I mean, that'd at least help. Like he said, I mean, he feels he shouldn't have to pay it. So.
I mean, I don't know.
We all know Les has the money to hire a lawyer too.
Yeah, well, it's not going to go there. But I think that if there's two paths, I would think that we could take from here. One, you guys could do some research, see if I am obligated to pay it, or if we, James said it was $155 a foot. If we could agree that I only have to pay the 75 feet that the sidewalk could go in front of my lot, maybe that's a happy, happy medium.
Well, James, who puts the sidewalk in? Is it
In this
the
case, it'd be
builder?
our Public Works.
Public Works will put it in.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think we're talking about a segment that goes from approximately Knox to Pine Hill to, eventually there will be a segment, and that's kind of where the sidewalk fund goes. It'll eventually go from across his development up to the mobile home park and then down Old Pine Hill Road. So we're talking millions and millions of dollars, so every little bit helps.
Sure.
So just out of curiosity, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around how we arrived here, and what I'm hearing you say is you had a waiver for the original subdivision.
Correct.
When you applied for this one lot, this expense was added in. Was it an oversight on the town's part, or was it?
No, I think you could probably look back through the language, but even when you amend your subdivision and create one lot, you're opening up a whole, you follow the procedure of a new subdivision. If you create one lot and you amend it, you're opening up as a new.
And James is probably right on that, and that's why I'm saying I don't know if by opening that Pandora's box, if that erases the waiver that I had. And that's why, again, I'm not trying to get out of paying my fair share. I just think my fair share is 75 feet, not 200. I don't even have 200 feet of frontage on the whole property there, so I don't.
Do you agree with that? I just don't, not seeing it on a map. It's tough to. I think it's tough for us to make a
Yeah,
call without having all the
lot's
facts.
100. The lot has 100 feet of frontage, so I think that's typically what we do, is we require the sidewalk to go along the frontage of the property.
You're talking about a 25-foot driveway?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
there's a 25-foot
So 75
driveway
feet.
cut with the swales, so there's
So 75 feet.
70. You could only put 75 feet of sidewalk in front of my property.
Right.
So what would that be?
And that's,
Total.
that would be, actually, calculate.
150.
It'd be 11,625.
Is that an agreeable?
I'd be more than happy to contribute that.
I think that's reasonable if everybody agrees and he's in agreement. Do we have to do that formally, or is this enough formality if we vote on it that it's all set?
I can get an updated quote from the Director of Public Works. That's the way
Okay.
you have a document you can add to the file and vote on it. And then maybe Mike has a different take on it. Maybe he agrees, but I'd like to have him weigh on it too.
DJ will be at the next meeting.
Lee J as well.
I think that would be in your best interest too.
Yeah,
have it
yeah.
documented. So informally, you are agreeable to the cost for X amount square feet,
Absolutely.
and if we draft that up in a document, that's agreeable to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we make that an action item for the next meeting? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Good night.
All right. Second public comment. No public comments for the second going round. Any informational items, Mr. Bellissimo?
I just want to say SMPDC's coming on board in November. We've worked with SMPDC a handful of years. Hannah and Lee J will both be planners. Hannah will probably end up taking the first meeting of the month, and Lee J will be at the second meeting of the month. I think they'll probably prefer, I think the town may prefer, it's up to you guys though. If you want them here in person, they'll come in person. My suggestion would be typical applications, maybe have them zoom in. But if you want them here, especially during, highly contested or complex applications, you want them here. That's, chair and vice chair. You guys, I'm cool with you guys making that call. Just want to say, as town manager, fully support the planning board. And Mike's been on me about scheduling a joint meeting, so that I'll work on scheduling a joint meeting between select board, planning board. Sometimes we include Envision Berwick as well.
Okay. And I think, I know we had talked about this previously with regard to Zoom and embracing technology and how it worked for COVID, but I do think we're kind of in a unique quandary right now with personnel and staffing where I think we should embrace technology in order to be able to further, the projects of the town, so we're not hindering the town and being sensitive to those folks' schedules. I would be amenable to that within reason, unless we had a highly contentious project where we would definitely want them here. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, and I think with people and schedules and that sort of thing, and as we saw tonight, had Matt not been able to get on, we couldn't even have had a quorum here.
Right.
Because our quorum has changed now that we have 7 permanent members, we need 4 for voting. So, so with doing that, and then requiring those 4 to show up here in person could, as it was today, a hurdle. So, yeah, I think if we continue the availability of Zoom, although if you can get here, get here.
I think
I like coming in person. To be honest, I'll be there. I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Matt, can I ask you a question? Did you get my email about this meeting?
I don't think so. I don't think I saw a few days ago you introduced yourself as the new I don't know. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but the assistant or code assistant or something like that.
Sure. Planning and code enforcement technician.
Planning and code. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But
you said in that email
I got your introduction, and I didn't unless you sent an email. I'll look right now. Unless you sent an email recent.
That email said the meeting was scheduled for tonight. So if you can let me know, because I know Paul.
Thankfully, I hopped on Zoom real quick. So
yeah, that's fine.
Any other informational items?
I just want to formally introduce Dave in his new role of just planning and code technician, and Dave's already been able to pick up the baton in a lot of ways. Happy to have him in the office.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thanks for stepping up,
Good
Dave.
choice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I also could mention where Joe Roussel is part-time interim code officer. He's in the office Monday and Wednesday, typically in the mornings, 8 to noon, and we are hiring for code enforcement officers. So if you know anybody looking to get into the field, have them contact me.
All right. If there are no further items for consideration from the esteemed Burgess meeting room in the depths of the Berwick Town Hall, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the planning board meeting.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.